Okay, so I want to make a real quick video on evaluating functions with function notation. Um, Whenever you see what we would call g of x, h, I'm sorry, f of x, h of x, j of x, anything like this right here, this is called function notation. Now, for the most part, this right here is just the name of the function. Okay? What it allows us to do is when we're looking at our problems down here, if it's got an f, I know it's talking about this one because this is the name of this function. Okay? But it also has a second purpose when we use function notation. So we see this g of x right here. Well, when I come down here, it says g of 10. Well, what's happened here is this 10 took the place of that x. Well, that's the equivalent of saying x, I'm going to try my best to write this, equals 10. So all this is telling me is that if I say g of 10, it's saying, hey, x equals 10, and I need it to be put in this function right here. Where most kids mess up is when they try to plug it in, they think that this g of x has something to do with the problem, and this is just the name. The problem comes after the equal sign. This is the problem right here. Now, I like to do these in the calculator. So I'm going to show you how I do these in the calculator. So we're going to use this negative 3x plus 1. And then we want to put 10 in for x. And there's a bunch of ways that you can do it. But to me, the safest is I'm going to open up a new document. And then we're going to go to calculator. I just want to do a simple calculation. And what we'll do is we'll type in our original expression, which was negative 3x plus 1. So I'm going to type in negative 3x plus 1. Now, like I said, there's a lot of different ways that you can do this in the calculator. I'm not saying this is the only correct way. But to me, this is the safest way. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit Control equals. And this vertical bar right here is called the such that bar. Okay, so we're going to hit this. And then once we put our such that bar, now we're going to go back and it said x equals 10, so we're going to put x equals 10. Now this is what we just told the calculator. I have this expression right here, and I want to know what the answer is such that x is equal to 10. So the calculator is going to turn around and put 10 in for x and give us a solution. And the solution is negative 29. So g of 10 is going to be negative, let's see if I can do this, 29. Alright. So now I see f of 3. I'm sorry, I've got all these random dots. So when we look at f of 3, I know I'm looking at f of x. So I'm going to use this function right here, x squared plus 7. And my x is going to be 3. So I'll come back over here. I'm going to type in x. I would use this squared button when instead of the exponent button. So plus 7. Hit your control equals to get your such that bar. So I wanted to do this function right here such that x is equal to 3. And my answer is 16. So f of 3 is going to be 16. Okay? So big mistake that I see a lot of kids make is this is h of 2 and they go right above it. But this is j of x. So I've got to come over here to h of x to work this one. So I'll be using this function and x is equal to negative 2. So to get a fraction, we hit Control Divide, and then we have 12 over x. I'm going to arrow out, and then go get my such that bar, so such that, and then x is equal to negative 2, so x is equal to negative 2. Oh, except when you hit it, you got to make sure it's plugging it in. So we got x is equal to negative 2. All right, hit enter, and we got negative 6. Okay, and then right here, this one is the one that went with the j. And so I'm using this function with x equals 7. So we're going to have 2x plus 9. And then my such that bar. And x equals 7. Hit enter, and we got 23. Alright, so the only other problem that we really need to look at is going to be this one. Now this right here, they've worded this in a way that's kind of weird. So we're looking for the range. Now range is my y's. Okay, so we want to find the range of this function. So g of x would be this one right here. So I know I'll be using this one. Given the domain, and they're giving me 3 numbers for domain. So what do these 3 numbers mean? Well, in the same way that a while ago this meant x equals, we know domain means x. So this is x equals negative 2, x equals 0, and x equals 4. So we're going to have to do this 3 times. But if you know this calculator, this isn't going to be all that bad. So we've got this negative 3x plus 1, and I'm going to show you a little trick to do these 3 real quick. So the first one we got to type in negative 3x plus 1. I've already typed that in up here. So this calculator has a copy and paste feature. So I can go copy the last time I typed this in and hit enter, and it pastes it down. But I don't want x equals 10, I want negative 2. So I'll just delete this, but negative 2. Make sure you get the 2. Alright, so when x is equal to negative 2, then I've got 7 as an answer. Okay, well, I'm going to put in, copy and paste this, I'm going to put in 0. And you can see, if you understand how to use the calculator, this can go pretty quickly. And then I'm going to copy and paste, and put in 4. Okay, so if this is my domain, negative 2, 0, and 4, when I plug this in, this is my range. So my range would be 7. I think it said 1. Yep, 1. And negative 11. So you can see that function notation, at least when you're evaluating, it's all calculator. You just have to know how to read it and how to plug it into the calculator. I hope this helped.